A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, Ramayana and Mahabharata Diaries. In this particular session, I'm going to be talking about the great Lakshman. Not only there is no brother like Lakshman, but there is also no buddy like Lakshman. Lakshman is one of the most amazing and most interesting and most honest and highly virtuous character of Ramayana. A lot of people say that Lakshman was short-tempered and he used to scold people, or he would just never mince his words. He would just very straightforwardly speak everything. And he was very fearless. Now it's interesting to also share with you guys that Lakshman was actually the reincarnation of Sheshnag. And if you look at any photograph of Vishnu and Lakshmi in their dimension, which is the dimension called Vaikuntha, which means a dimension which has no frustration. So Vishnu is sitting on the bed which is created by the body of Sheshnag. So once again, another god, another lord of planet Earth who is an animal lover, but very, very interesting to see that another animal that we pray to is Sheshnag. And when Ram was taking birth on planet Earth, or Vishnu was reincarnating on planet Earth, and Lakshmi was reincarnating as Sita, Lakshman or Sheshnag was like, I am going to go there to support him because he will need my support. And somehow it's because of my love for animal kingdom. I am very fond of Lakshman, because one more reason is because he is an animal himself, he's Sheshnag and he's a snake on top of that. And secondly, because of all the stories in Ramayana, all the chapters, whenever I read about Lakshman, I really enjoy reading about him, because he always speaks literally on the face, even if it has to be to a person who could be elderly or very powerful. But he did not like arrogance, and he did not like anybody who was being selfish or self-centered, or who would act out of their own, like I am this and I am that. Lakshman would be the first one to give it back to them. So he was very committed, number one, and he was extremely loyal. Loyalty is a very, very important lesson for all the star seeds on planet Earth, because they meet a lot of people who are not loyal. They have many disloyal friends, family is not loyal to them, bosses are not loyal to them, colleagues are not loyal to them, peers are not loyal to them, lovers are not loyal to them. So they go through this problem of disloyalty way too much, okay? And then finally they come on to their, own self. They start figuring things out, and then they realize the reason why other people are not showing loyalty, it's because they are not showing loyalty towards themselves, towards their own soul. So when a seeker starts doing inner work, when they start studying metaphysics, when they start doing jap and they start doing focused attention, when they are connected with source, when they start integrating with the source, then they realize that I need to be loyal towards my soul, towards my mission, towards my purpose. And then they start attracting the cheerleaders, they start attracting good people. And they could be from the animal kingdom, they could be from the spirit world, they could be from the plant kingdom, they could be from the human domain, they could be the divine beings. Even some of the Asuras could be their friends, but the Asuras could be very divine in nature. There are many traits of Lakshman which are different from Lord Sri Ram. However, Lakshman is still one of the characters who has maximum, you can say, powers, and he was a very big tapasvi. For 14 years he did not sleep. For 14 years he took care of Ram and Sita like he was not a younger brother, rather a elder parent or some adult, he was like that with them. And also you have to think, like, if someone does not sleep for 14 days or 14 hours or 14 weeks, they are sick, they get sick. But Lakshman did not sleep for 14 years. And I personally feel that even Lakshman experienced a twin flame relationship because he was married to Urmila, his wife, and then for duty and for mission, he chose to be with his brother and his wife, and then he supported his brother all throughout. And for 14 years, he was separated from Urmila, his wife, and he did not bat an eyelid. He did not even think once or twice when his brother was leaving for the forest. And he told his wife also that I have to go because I have to help my brother. I am here on this planet to be his support system. And as Sheshnag, obviously he was always continuously with Vishnu. Whether Vishnu is with Lakshmi or not, but Sheshnag is always with Vishnu. That's their love and that's their bond. So obviously when they come to earth, Lakshman had to be his brother. When Vishnu reincarnates as Krishna, once again he becomes an elder brother and his name is Balram at that time. But I am going to remain focused on the character of Lakshman because for me, he is one of the most inspiring and very daring character, which is hard to find anywhere, that type of a person. And he is one of the biggest saints also, and you can say, as I said, biggest yogi. And it is said that when someone is very higher in terms of their tapas or in terms of their sacrifice, in terms of being a yogi, then no one should say anything mean to them, anything negative to them, anything which is not true about them or to them. And Lord Ram and Sita, when they saw the golden deer, both of them wanted to keep the deer. It was Lakshman who kept saying that this is definitely an illusion. It is done by a Mayavi. Okay, and Mayavis, basically all the Asuras are Mayavis once they get some powers. So he kept saying that, a golden deer is not possible, brother. He would say, brother and my sister, to his sister-in-law, he would say, brother and my dear sister, a golden deer is not possible. What makes you think there's a real golden deer out there? But they are like, no. Then he says, okay, brother, if you really want to go, then go, but I'm not going to stop you. But according to me, it doesn't seem to be a golden deer. It has to be some Asura that needs to be killed. Then later on, when the Asura played the trick, Marich, he played the trick. He was indeed the golden deer, acting as a golden deer. And then when he died, he started talking, shouting and screaming in agony, in pain, in Ram's voice. Okay, so when that voice reached Sita, she was very scared and petrified and full of fear. And she told Lakshman, please go and check on your brother. He's the only reason I'm here. He's everything. He's my life. And just hearing his voice, his painful voice, his sad voice, his troubled voice, I'm getting really, really, miserable here. Please go and save your brother. So Lakshman said, it can't be him. It can't be him. He has killed so many demons already. This demon, no matter what, golden deer or whatever he is acting to be, he's nothing, and he's purposely doing this. He's purposely doing this so that you and me, we get scared and we act out and we do some mistake. And specifically, he said that let's not believe this voice. In some time, Brother Ram will come back smilingly, and that's it. You'll get to know the truth. But Sita did not listen. Sita kept crying. Sita kept, being in those talks, negative talks. And then when he was not budging, he was not listening to Sita, he was very adamant person also. Very adamant, but extremely respectful towards Ram and Sita. Okay. So when Sita says, no Lakshman, you don't understand, he said, I do understand. I'm trying to protect you because my brother has asked me to stay here with you and look after you. So don't say all these things. I'm not leaving you. When he completely denied and completely refused to leave Sita, that's when Sita said some mean words to him. And those mean words are what costed her dearly, because as soon as Lakshman left from there, he created a Lakshman Rekha, which is a very powerful, as I said, Lakshman was very powerful yogi, okay? So powerful that many demons would just shiver just by listening to his name, Ram and Lakshman are approaching, the demons would shiver. But Lakshman obviously is so powerful, okay? So he drew a boundary, a border around, like with a stick, he drew one line around the house. And he said, no matter what, do not cross this. And it was called Lakshman Rekha. Rekha means line, and made by Lakshman, so Lakshman Rekha. So he said, I'm making this Lakshman Rekha over here. It's a very powerful point. Nobody can come inside and nobody can, trouble you from that side. But you don't cross it. You stay within this boundary. Don't cross it. So already Sita had made the mistake. The mistake was she had said those bad words to him, and so automatically she had to receive the punishment, or she had to go through it, because he is such a high ascended master, such a high ascended master. And it's not even like she's speaking about him in the back or something. She's literally saying this to him on his face. It really hurt him. It really hurt him. He was feeling very bad, and he said, why are you saying this? Why are you saying this to me? You know it's not like this. You know I don't mean anything, any negative thought in my head. It's never been there. I just want to protect you. I just want to listen to my brother. And also I know that some trick has been played. I am very, very sure about this trick. But you are not listening to me. So I have no option but I have to leave from here. Because he was so hurt and he was so sad. He had to leave. He had to listen to what Sita said. And eventually Ravan kidnapped Sita, and then Sita, when she was in the in Lanka and she was in the Ashok Vatika, that's the time she did speak about it, that this is a result of what I did. I should not have spoken to him. And being short-tempered, whatever name he's been received, that he is short-tempered and he says whatever he feels like saying, he never gave it back to Sita. He could have given it back to Sita, but he just, with joined hands, with tears in his eyes, he just walked away. Okay? So that's Lakshman. That's Lakshman for you. And Lakshman also was born through a yagya. Although he was biologically received, but I think he was also an EBE because he came along with Vishnu. So an extraterrestrial biological entity. And the gods were pleased with Dasharath, and therefore with Ram he was born. However, he was the son of Sumitra, so he was called Sumitra Nandan also. But Lakshman was devoted to Ram from the very day he was born. Okay, and it is said that despite his rebellious nature, whatever he was, he was like a very strong-headed kid. Okay, always very strong-headed kid. And I've watched Ramayana and I've watched many movies and I've been reading Ramayana. I just love his character. He could not hear a single word against Ram, okay, against his elder brother. And he was always serving his brother, and that was his prime duty, because that was also his mission before coming to planet Earth. Okay. It is said that Lakshman was crying when he was born, and he was crying, uncontrollably he was crying. But as soon as the baby was placed next to Ram, he became very quiet and he calmed down. So Ram's presence used to calm him down, and that's why Ram was very important. So that's why this Lakshman and Ram connection is very important. Okay. When he was getting married to Urmila, at that time also he first told Urmila that if I get married to you, then I may not be able to serve you that well. Serve you, as well as it might create an obstacle in my mission for Ram, my brother, because I'm here on planet Earth to help Ram and Sita, to help his mission, to be a part of his dream or whatever role he is here to play. So I do not want to get married because I will not be, I don't want to get distracted becoming a husband. So that's the time he made it very clear to his wife also, Urmila also, that if he has to choose between his brother and his wife, he will definitely choose the brother, not the wife. So he made it very clear. It was not like he gave a false commitment and he sang some romantic songs, or he told Urmila, oh my God, my dear beautiful woman, I love you and this and that. Nothing of that sort. And in fact, Urmila felt very lucky that she was even married to such a person, because Lakshman, again, he has a very beautiful aura. He was not just looks, okay. In looks, I think Ram, Lakshman, all the four, Bharat, Shatrughan, Sita, all of them are very good looking characters, but we don't go with the looks. We go with the inner beauty, and inner beauty, outer beauty, I think inner beauty reflects outer beauty. That's how I see it sometimes. Sometimes, people are not that good looking, But when they start doing inner work, they start going deep within themselves, suddenly they become very good looking. Suddenly they start illuminating. Suddenly their looks, it becomes like a magnet for other people. Not just the looks. Actually, looks is exterior, okay? But it's actually them. Their vibes or their auras that attract people towards them. Or I would say the right type of people towards them, okay? So here, again, I would say as a husband, as a lover, he was not dishonest. He was an honest lover, and he was against marriage for sure. But he still got married, and after marriage he did all his duties, he fulfilled all his duties, but he made it very clear right from day one. So this is an honest man, This is a man who's true to his words. And if he knew that I am not going to be able to fulfill a certain commitment, I don't want to give a commitment, because if I give a certain commitment in a certain relationship, then I have to fulfill it. So he was equally like Ram, I would say, because Ram followed the principle of Pran jaye par vachan na jaye. Raghukul riti sada chali aaye, Pran jaye par vachan na jaye. Okay? Which Bollywood actors have encashed this dialogue in their own style these days and give no credit to Ramayana or Lord Sri Ram. So he was also like that. Whatever principles Ram used to follow, Lakshman used to follow the same. He would never give any commitment to anyone. But if he's sure that yes, I can do this, then only he would give the commitment. And many times he would always look up to his brother. If any act he has to do or anywhere he has to go and someone comes and asks him, Lakshman, do you want to do this? He would say, let me ask my brother Ram. And then he would ask, brother Ram, if anything is taking him away from his brother, separating him from his brother, then he would not even do it. He would say, I am not the one. I am a servant of my brother, so you ask my brother, not me. So for anybody who is doing bhakti, one has to understand that Lakshman was really a person who was always on his feet to always do something for Ram. When Ram and Lakshman and Sita were in exile, at that point in time, there was a place where Ram meets Shabri. And Shabri is one old lady who was a bhakt of Ram, and she was waiting. She was also tapasvi, and she was waiting for many years to meet Ram. So in her excitement, she had kept some berries like ripe berries she had kept. So now in case of berries also, we don't know which berry is the sweetest, right? So she was also in such a childlike mind, and she was so enamored by Ram, and she was so happy that she kept tasting the berries. Like she would taste the berry and say, oh, this one is the sweetest. And that one she would give to Ram and Lakshman. Ram very sweetly ate the berries, but Lakshman was like, should I really eat these berries? Because she's actually tasting each berry and giving it to me and to my brother. So that was his sweetness, that was his cuteness actually. Sheshnag is also the multiple-headed Nag, serpent. And this is the serpent on whom Lord Vishnu rests. So as Sheshnag also, he is constantly making sure that Vishnu is rested, And Sheshnag is also very happy with Vishnu only. Just like Nandi is very happy with Shiva. Just like Hanuman is very happy with Just Ram. Like all the cows are happy with Lord Shri Krishna. When Shri Krishna was a young boy, all the cows and calves were very happy with him. Similarly, you look at any god and goddess of Hindu mythology, which I don't think it's mythology. It was a word given by the British so that we would have less faith in our history, our real history, and we would study their education, which was minus actual astrology, astronomy, real science. It was full of useless things. They teach in the schools and colleges even now and give some paper degree to people. There is no mention of focused attention. There is no mention of dhyan. There is no mention of studying your nature fully as in practically, not just in the books or in the theory. Their history, whatever history they teach in the school and college is very, very new, which is not even history, which should not be called history. Just 500,000 years old is not history. This is real history because it is 10,000 years old, 5,000 years old. And look at the astrology, look at the astronomy. Indians knew about the 9 planets since 10,000 years. And when they came here, first thing they did was stop the Gurukul system. And people were vegetarians in India. They started eating meat because all these things were, slowly and gradually instilled into the minds of people. Otherwise, in India, you go to any temple, you pray to any god. If you actually study the Vedas, if you study Ramayana, if you study Mahabharata, you would know that every god's best friend is an animal. So therefore, how can animal be lower than us? If Vishnu's best friend is Sheshnag, if Lakshmi is always with her owl, her favorite owl, if Ganesha's vehicle or best friend is a mouse, if Dattatreya is hanging out with dogs, if Sai Baba, a seer, an ascended master, is hanging out with street dogs, okay, if Saraswati is hanging out with her swan, and Durga is always with her lion and her tigers. And in India, we still call her Sherawali Mata. Sherawali means the goddess who has a lion as her vehicle or her pet or whatever you want to call it. I think they are their friends, best friends, So all of them are animal lovers. Every single one of them. You cannot touch divinity. You cannot, go up to that level of ascension if you do not understand that animals are our friends. And obviously when your energy changes, when within you have those sort of downloads, and you have the Kundalini is opened up, Sushumna is opened up, the nadis are opened up, the energy of the chakras, you get aligned with the energies of chakras, then automatically you'll start figuring these things out, okay? You'll get information like that, or you'll on your own, personally also, you'll see so many changes within you. Sometimes, yes, it is very hard, and that's why I say inner work is very, very important on a daily basis. You need to heal your wounds. You need to get out of your trauma bonds. You need to work on yourself. That's definitely there. I'm going to read out this beautiful narration from Wikipedia about Lakshman. And since I've already spoken about what happens in Panchavati is the place where Lakshman built a hut for Ram and Sita to live in. And there was also one chapter on Shurpanakha. Not chapter, one part of the story where Ravan's sister, she tries to seduce Ram, and in turn, when she got angry with Sita because Ram is committed to Sita and he tells her that that's my wife and that's the only woman I am here for, she starts insulting Sita, and then she tries to kill Sita, and that's the time when Lakshman cuts nose and ears. Okay, Shurpanakha's nose and ears. Okay, so obviously he was always very protective, and then he played a very important role in the war with Ravan, and he was very important because he killed many of Ravan's sons and brothers, and of course he was always with Ram. Any war, he was always standing next to Ram. And very rightly it is said that Lakshman Rekha has become a metaphor in situations where one needs to remain in their boundaries. No matter who you are on planet Earth, we should never forget we have boundaries. Even when we do inner work, we talk about boundaries, right? That don't cross my boundary, or I'm making these healthy boundaries. So that is also being said for Lakshman Rekha, because when Sita crossed the perimeter line that Lakshman had drawn around her, she suffered. Okay, and he had told her, don't cross this line. Okay, and she crossed it and she suffered because she felt bad for Ravan. And Ravan at that point in time was disguised as a poor Brahmin who was begging, who was asking for food and money. And he said that, dear child, dear woman, Tapaswini, are you not going to give me food? And she said, I will give you food so you can come and take it from here. And Ravan, being very smart, he knew. He had tried to enter that line, the Lakshman Rekha, when Sita was inside, when she was in the hut. Ravan had tried to cross it and he could not cross it. So he knew that there is some kind of a magical veil that protects this woman, and therefore I need to ask her to step out of it. So he started acting out, and he started acting like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, I have not eaten, and I'm this and that. And when she refused him, when she said, I can't do it, suddenly he acted like, he's a very strong person, he can curse her and this and that. So he said that, you are going to disrespect me, you are going to disrespect a poor Brahmin, a poor sage who was asked to you to give him some food. Is this what a lady should do? And blah blah blah, all those things he said. And of course, that's when she stepped out, he abducted her. So at the end of the war, Ram was crowned as the king of Ayodhya and Bharat became the crown prince. And then Ram made this offer to Lakshman also, that I will make you the crown prince. But he said no. He said that Bharat is elder and he never wanted to rule. He said, I don't want to rule. I'm your brother and that's more than enough for me. I'll do whatever duties, the court duties I need to do. I will do it and I will always serve you. So Ram heard this and he was very happy with Lakshman, and then he said, because you have served me and you did your duties as a younger brother, so next time if I'm born again as a brother, and that happened when he became Shri Krishna, and then again Lakshman was born, then I am going to Lakshman also was the one who had to leave Sita in the forest near Rishi Valmiki's ashram, because she desired to leave the kingdom. Actually it was Sita who wanted to leave the kingdom, but Lakshman remained loyal to his brother. And then later on again we see Lakshman fighting against Ram's son, which is Love and Kush. Now when we read the story of Love and Kush, I mean, this is my understanding, knowing how Lakshman's character is, I think Lakshman did not purposely win against Love and Kush, because he was a very moralistic guy, and Love Kush were little boys, they were little boys, but they were very strong boys. All of their chakras were aligned since childhood, because the Guru Valmiki was their teacher, and he obviously could see through in time, and he gave that power to Love and Kush, and through his grace and through all the work they were doing with them in the ashram, he aligned all their chakras, and then they became extremely powerful after that. So they fought against Ram's army, and one by one all the brothers came. Shatrughan came, Bharat came, and then Lakshman finally came, and everyone was getting defeated, and Lakshman was very shocked. So in the story it is said that they defeated Lakshman, but I somehow feel, it could be my intuition or whatever you want to call it, that Lakshman must have just accepted the defeat. He must have just said that, these boys are too young. But again, I'm not 100% correct over here. This is my intuition, as I said. Now at the end, what happens is, again, very important thing, that Rishi Durvasa, sage Durvasa, he appeared at Ram's doorstep, and he saw Lakshman was guarding the door, and he said to Lakshman that I want to meet Ram right away. And this is the time when Ram was having a private conversation with Yamraj, and Yamraj, most probably he was there because Ram's time on planet Earth was up and complete. So maybe they were discussing that, you are now supposed to leave your life and all those things, and how we are going to take it and blah blah blah. So before this conversation even started, Yamraj had given strict instruction to Ram that their dialogue, whatever they are going to talk, will remain confidential, and if anyone is going to enter the room, they should be given the Mrityu Dand. Dand means punishment and Mrityu means death. So the punishment of death has to be given. And then Ram agreed, and then he told Lakshman that it is your duty to guard the door. You make sure that nobody comes inside, because if anyone will come inside, I would have to give Mrityu Dand to that person. So please understand how important this is. Okay. And when Durvasa came, again, Lakshman, as always, he was very strong-headed. He refused. And that made the sage very angry. And then he threatened to curse all of Ayodhya people. And he said, I'll destroy Ayodhya and all the people. And again, Durvasa was also getting short-tempered. I've heard somewhere Durvasa also had a temper. And Rishi Durvasa was also very, very, very powerful. Okay, he was very powerful. And he also carried an aura around him. Like if he is going to meet Ram, he was like, I cannot be stopped over here. I need to meet Ram right now. Now this is all being planned. It is all predestined in the skies, maybe. So Durvasa did not stop, and Lakshman was not budging. But when, he said that I'll curse Ayodhya, then Lakshman was like, what? I should take the Mrityu Dand, because he and he knows that my brother Ram always serves the people. My brother Ram is all about Ayodhya, so he is serving to the throne of Ayodhya, and I should not put Ayodhya in a situation, so let me take the death penalty or death punishment. Let me go and disturb my brother. So as soon as he enters that room where Yam is sitting with Ram, obviously, this interruption happens, and the meeting is over, and Yama just disappears from there. Okay. Now, to fulfill the brother's promise, Lakshman goes to the bank of river Saryu, and he drowns himself in river Saryu. And it is also said that Lakshman never really died over there. Lakshman, straight away from the water, he went alive to the Vishnu Lok or the Vaikunt Lok, and stood back or came back as Sheshnag, which was his actual Swaroop, okay, actual identity. So this is a very interesting part, like for his word and for his commitment. He had unwavering loyalty, unwavering commitment, and unwavering love and respect for his elder brother, as much as he was with the brother during joyous periods, but he was always the first one to be there during adversities and during problems. So that's why Lakshman is such an important character. In the countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, Ramayana is one of the very important scripture. So over there, military officers, they are given the rank which is equivalent of admirals in the navy, and the rank is titled as Lakshman, obviously after the figure of Lakshman. So this is about Lakshman, and the more you study Ramayana, the more you are going to connect. The resonation with the energy of Lakshman will become more and more clear, because these things you learn by experience. These things you feel in you, in your blood, in your veins. That type of loyalty, that type of commitment, that type of perseverance, and that type of tapasya, that type of tapa that he's doing, Lakshman is doing. It's not possible for anyone to do it. So this is where I'm going to close this session about great Lakshman. For me, he's extremely inspirational, and I would suggest you, or I would recommend to you, to read Ramayana, and when you're reading Ramayana, do pay attention on Lakshman's character. Thank you so much for being here with me. One love and peace out.